This week at Dreamworld, more touch-ups around the park, taking a closer look at the upcoming King Claw, and Dreamworld reveals their big announcement. Hello everyone, welcome back to the YumYum Report, bringing you bite-sized updates from Australian theme parks, as well as occasional updates from theme parks around the world. Before we start, I'd like to give a quick thanks to Team YumYum for supporting my content. Thank you so much. Every time I visit Dreamworld, there's something new or interesting to film and discuss. It seems like they're constantly making changes, big and small, that either upgrade the look and feel of the park or improve quality of life and the guest experience. The roof on Main Street has now been completely painted white, which is an excellent upgrade in contrast to the previous color, which was a combination of red and white. This new version fits much more nicely with the old school colonial style architecture of Main Street, and in my opinion is much more in line with the branding of modern day Dreamworld. The old paint job was very much reminiscent of a phase in Dreamworld's history that I personally feel was quite tacky and tasteless, so I'm very pleased to see them making these changes. There were also a few other things I noticed on Main Street, such as some additions inside the shop windows to the recently renovated exit gift shop. In one window you can see they've added a yellow surfboard, which is a homage to the iconic Wipeout ride, which was one of Dreamworld's landmark attractions back in the day. In another window they've recently added some costumes and props from the old Bush Ranger show. It's really cool to see throwbacks to Dreamworld's legacy attractions and entertainment. There's also a nice message above the windows talking about remembering the past and looking forward to the future. At this stage, the window mentioning the future is blocked off by a vending machine, and it seems to be empty, but perhaps they plan to put something there in the future. It would be a cool spot to showcase some of the upcoming attractions at Dreamworld as time goes on. For example, they could put something in the window to do with King Claw, like a little diorama or a poster or some merchandise. That would be really cool. Work is also continuing on the terrace area of the food pavilion. It looks like they've pulled up a lot of the flooring and are upgrading it. It's a nice area to sit, but sometimes it does feel a little bit messy or dated, so I'm glad to see them doing work on this area. It's great to see Dreamworld making these changes, particularly towards the front end of the park, which makes entering the park really impressive. You know what they say, you never get a second chance at making a first impression, and I think Dreamworld is doing a great job at creating a warm and tasteful environment from the outset. I wonder what other changes we can expect to see around the park. I have a few ideas. The Dreamworld Flyer has been an excellent addition to the park, replacing the previous lake area, which was a somewhat lifeless, stagnant pool of water that was rarely used in previous years. The Flyer has brought much more life to the space and kinetic energy, but one thing I feel like the entrance to the park is missing is water. I know the Flyer features a cool water display, but I'm thinking something more constant that runs throughout the day. I can't really explain it, but I feel like subconsciously there's something really comforting about having the sound of water around. It probably sounds like I'm crazy, but I feel like if they had some nice elegant water fountains in and around the entrance and Main Street area, it would add a lot more life. I also think it would be nice to have some more shade around the park. This is something they have been doing recently, such as in Kenny and Belinda's Dreamland, and with the recent umbrella additions to Rivertown. I feel like one thing kind of missing from the main entrance area is some natural shade, like trees. I could see this working really nicely, particularly in front of the ice cream shop. It doesn't need to be a bunch of giant trees because you don't want to block the sight lanes, but I think it would look really nice and be more appealing and natural looking than the fake grass that's currently there. One last thing I think would be really cool to add is if they had some kind of statue or landmark to pay homage to John Longhurst, the founder and creator of Dreamworld. He was a real visionary. Not only did he see the potential for a Disney-inspired park in Australia, but he actually followed through on his idea and created it, which is extremely impressive. It would be really cool if they had a statue of John with Kenny and Belinda, maybe in the open area between the Dreamworld Flyer, the cafe and sweet shop, and the food pavilion. Hong Kong Disneyland has something similar to this, depicting Walt and Mickey sitting on a bench in front of the castle. Whenever I see that statue, it always reminds me of the people that actually created the park to begin with. I think it would be a really nice touch and would make guests appreciate what they're experiencing even more. What do you think? Do you have any ideas yourself? Let me know in the comments. This video is sponsored by Dehancer, a film emulation and color grading plugin which I've been using a lot recently in videos. If you're interested in photography or videography and editing, Dehancer is awesome because it allows you to give your photos and videos film-like qualities with lots of types of film stocks, halation, bloom, and much more. They've got lots of options ranging from Photoshop and Lightroom plugins to video editing plugins for DaVinci, After Effects, and Premiere Pro. They also have a mobile app and a web-based editor too. And I actually used Dehancer to color grade this video. So if you're interested, I have a promo code, YumYum, available, which will give you 10% off your purchases at www.dehancer.com. A big thanks to the awesome people at Dehancer, and back to the video. The progress on King Claw has been absolutely incredible. It's hard to believe that only at the beginning of the year, the original Claw ride was still operating, and in that time they've taken it down, done all the groundwork, and the ride has begun to go vertical. I didn't notice anything particularly different this week, given it's hard to see with all the construction walling around, so I thought it would be fun to have a closer look at some of the concept art for King Claw to try and judge how far along they are with their plans, and what is still needing to be added. It's definitely looking like the ride is in line with what's depicted in the concept art. The orientation of the ride has shifted, so rather than swinging outwards toward the roadside, it will now swing towards Main Street itself, which should create a really incredible first impression. Guests will enter from Main Street, crossing paths with a display showing King Claw himself. I really like the design of the creature, which is definitely Lovecraftian inspired and reminiscent of Cthulhu. It also ties in much more clearly with the Ocean Parade theme. It was unclear what the original Claw was supposed to be exactly, and how it tied in with the Ocean Parade theming. For a long time I thought it was some kind of tiger theme, for some reason. It was quite confusing. This version is much more well defined. The split-tone cyan color scheme looks really nice, with the darker shades as the supports, and the arm and the top of the ride a lighter tone. They've also incorporated a lot of rusted metal theming, such as at the bottom of the supports, and on the sign itself, which looks really nice. There's also a lot of beach shack style driftwood, with the fencing, walls, and roofing in the queue area. It looks like there's a great viewing area towards the front of the entrance, where you can get a clear view of the seating and loading station. The flooring also has that driftwood style, which is like a boardwalk that you might see on a beach somewhere, and there's also some nice rope connecting the fence posts. Overall, it's a very simple but tasteful way to theme the ride in a way that's clear and concise. From a top-down perspective, we get a better view of the scale of the ride, and you really get an impression of how much of a presence this is going to have, particularly on Main Street. Can you imagine entering the park, turning and walking down Main Street and seeing King Claw swinging towards you? It's going to be very impressive and a little bit scary. On top of the ride, there's a cool King Claw display, and it looks like maybe the eyes on this display will light up, which I think will look really cool at nighttime, especially if you're driving past Dreamworld on the highway and you get a glimpse of the ride. The queue itself follows a similar color scheme to the ride, with that lighter tone cyan, and then the driftwood colored roofing. It looks like there's a semi-open triangular space that the queue wraps around. I wonder what they're going to put there. I'd love to see some more theming elements, like some tentacles, or maybe some water, or some other nautical sort of themed objects, because you're waiting a long time to get on some of these rides, and you need something interesting to look at. So while the ride is looking very impressive thematically, I do hope that there's some things inside the queue that kind of keep the attention and keep you immersed. Overall, it's looking fantastic. I guess the main thing I'm interested in seeing that the concept art doesn't really show is how the story of the ride is incorporated, both into the queue, the ride experience itself, the surrounding area, and Dreamworld as a whole. After what they did with Rivertown, I'd love to see them do something similar here. What do you think of King Claw's theming? Are you a fan? How do you think they'll build up a sense of story around the attraction and incorporate it into the park? Let me know in the comments. If you're enjoying this video, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And if you enjoy theme park content, check out my Instagram, where I post lots more cool stuff. Dreamworld has been teasing a big announcement for some time now. There was lots of speculation as to what this big announcement would be. Some people thought it would be some kind of promotion, other people thought it could be related to the giant drop, such as a tower climb. There was also speculation about a new ride announcement, maybe something to do with King Claw, and then there was also some speculation about the return of Big Brother. And it turns out the last prediction was correct. They dropped an announcement today, Sunday, announcing that Big Brother will in fact be returning to Dreamworld, which was the location of the original Big Brother house for the series in Australia. For the younger viewers, Big Brother was an iconic reality TV show series in the 2000s, where a group of contestants lived together in a house cut off from the outside world. It It was a kind of social experiment, and throughout the show, contestants would be voted off until only one person remained who would be the winner of a big cash prize. The show was a big hit back in the day, and it was kind of a cool drawcard for Dreamworld. I believe in between seasons, guests were actually able to visit the house and have tours. The show eventually moved on to different locations, but the house itself remained in the same spot and kind of rotted and decayed over time, becoming a sort of urban legend abandoned attraction that lots of people would sneak into, take photos, and do graffiti. In 2019, some kids snuck inside and started a fire, which burnt the house down. It was a big news story at the time, and it's a good thing the fire didn't really spread to other areas of the park. Since then, the idea of Big Brother returning has seemed somewhat out of the picture, so this announcement is quite surprising. I've never actually seen Big Brother before, but I do think it's cool that it is returning to its original location. I think it's a good marketing opportunity for Dreamworld, and it could potentially increase park attendance slightly if there's fans of the shows around, especially if they have some kind of tour experience. I'm not crazy about reality TV shows myself, except for Australian Survivor for some reason, which is my guilty pleasure, and The Traitors. I guess reality TV in general kind of has a trashy connotation to me, so part of me is slightly concerned how they're going to incorporate it into Dreamworld without ruining the brand. I think they've done a good job recently at not getting too invested with IPs. It's very easy to hop on board something that's popular at the time, but it's very rare for something to actually remain relevant for long stretches of time. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed that it's not an announcement of a new ride or attraction, but that's okay. King Claw is coming, and we just got Rivertown, so we've been spoiled for choice at Dreamworld. And with all the changes and upgrades being made around the park, there's lots to enjoy at Dreamworld, and I'm sure there's lots more coming on the horizon. What do you think about Dreamworld's big announcement? Are you excited, disappointed, or indifferent? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And before we finish, I'd like to give a very special thank you to the Team YumYum members and sponsors for supporting my content. Thank you so much. A big thank you to the members: SWStevie1, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Carrie Jackin, Kai on the Internet, Oogie Boogie, Theme Park Ogre, Jordan Casey, Medic Brick, Johnny Boy 175, Movies Like Everyone, and Lee Donald. And an extra special thanks to the Team YumYum sponsors: Koala75, Audrey Allen, Senpai's JP Blue Dog, Senpai's JP Red Dog, and Wayne Hewitt. Thank you so much again to all the members and sponsors of the channel. It means so much to me, and I'm really grateful that you enjoy my videos enough to support the channel in this way. For anyone who would like to become a member or sponsor, you're more than welcome to do so. This will give you access to new videos early, a shout out and thanks at the end of my videos, some emojis to use in the comments and chat, a YumYum sticker next to your username, and last but not least, a custom illustrated character hand-drawn by me to suit your very needs and requirements. And for any member who hasn't told me yet what you would like your character to be, let me know down below in the comments or message me on Instagram. And as an additional way to support the channel, you can also become a sponsor, which includes all of the perks of the membership, but as an additional thanks, I'll also animate your character doing a little dance, which will be super fun, super silly, and super cute. But if you're not in a position to support the channel by becoming a member or sponsor, you can also leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. Thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.